given the kind of course that he was on. He was the whole time was kind of coming west, southwest, so I don't think we're in the right place, to be honest. I think we need to go back along the way we came, and maybe he's just missing about in the drainage. Tesla is 7 years old. Hello Tesla, long time no hear. Hope that you are well. In terms of the whiskers on a cat or leopard, if they've all got the exact same number, Tesla, I have no idea, but my suggestion is that they don't, given that all of them are different, and I'm pretty sure that it's much like people, is that we all have a different amount of hair, and so whiskers is just part of hair basically, and it would be very kind of interesting to me if they all had the same. So I don't think so. I think they've got very different ones, and it's difficult to count them though. You'd have to kind of dart all these leopards and count every single one, and I don't want to actually get hold of any of these leopards to try and count them. Can you imagine trying to hold Hukumuri while you count his whiskers? I think he would eat me, so I'm not going to try it, but I don't think that they have the same amount of whiskers. I'm pretty, in fact, I would be 99% sure that they don't have the same amount of whiskers. You've got to just be careful with Hukumuri. He's a bit sneaky. Sometimes he can go over a road and you think that he's still on the one side of the road, but he's actually might have already crossed over. Just listening to some francolins there. Can't hear any squirrels, any birds. It's getting quite dark now, so difficult to see what's going on. But I just want to go along this road a little bit further and see if maybe, just maybe, he hasn't popped out somewhere in this direction. There's some hyena tracks that are on the road that I thought maybe were his just now, but they are not. They look like hyenas. So let's just check around here. Can't have gone far. He wasn't walking fast at all. He was just kind of ambling along, and that's why I thought we had more than enough time. He came right down on my right hand side now is exactly where he kind of came out, or came down into the drainage. So either he's gone in and he's gone sort of down the drainage, or he's come up it, but in which case I thought we would have spotted him by now. It's not exactly far from the road. I don't know where he's gone. Anyway, we'll just try and see where he is, and I'm sure we'll find him eventually. Again, we've just got to listen to some alarm calls and listen out for any signs, and while we do that, let's send you across to James, who's trying to find something on foot.
Trying to find something on foot, yes I am. We found tracks of Porcupino. We found the whole of Porcupino earlier, and now we find tracks of Porcupino. Here, come over here. Here is tracks of Porcupino. Can you see them? This one here. You can see it, yes? So you can see it. Just give me a There we go. There are the tracks. You can see that the claws, long way out in front of the rest of the foot, longish toes, and then a back pad here, and then a sort of amalgam of another two little back pads over there. And so that is the track of Porcupino. Very pretty. Well, sort of pretty-ish, I guess. Wonderful. Okay. I'm going to do another quiz. Can you believe it? I'm going to do another quiz, Senzo. Yes, I am. I'm going to do a bellissimo quiz. And the quiz is as follows. And you may not use Googly to find out. Do you promise me? Do you? Look me in the eye, everybody. Promise that you will not use Googly for this. What is the biggest rodent in the world? What is the biggest rodent in the world? And the way I've asked it might indicate that I think Jeremy Clarkson is the biggest rodent in the world. But I do not. He is not a rodent. He is a human being. No Google, no Bing, no Yahoo, no any of that. Ah, Carla, you say I sounded like a French Dracula. Thank you very much. I think I'd quite like to be a French Dracula. I don't have the teeth for it there. Granny Peg, you say Porcupino is the biggest rodent in the world? Negative, it isn't. It's the biggest rodent in Africa, yes, the Porcupino, and possibly Italy as well. Ah, no. Philip got it correct. Philip is very clever. He says, and everyone is getting it correct now, I thought you might actually get it all right, it's called a capybara. And a capybara is this enormous, it actually looks like a duiker with very long legs that lives in South America. The capybara is the biggest, and they look quite cute actually as well. They don't look like big rats. The biggest rodent in the world. Thank you very much for playing my game, What is the Biggest? Bill, you wanted to have a tough question. Okay, Bill, you want a tough question? Well, okay. Here's a tough question for you, Bill. You can do this in your head, okay? Not with paper, not with a calculator, not with a computer. You can tell me, in miles, how far away Alpha Centauri is if it is 4.2 light years away. Okay? In fact, you can do it in kilometers. You can tell me how many kilometers away it is. If it is 4.2 light years away and the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. You like that question, Bill? I think that's a hard one. I think it's quite hard. Come on, Senzo. I'm here. I think we're going to have to start to call this walk quits fairly soon. It's starting to get a bit bleak out here. So, unfortunately, the angry sailor in front of me is so intent on finding these leopards. Okay, well, I'll try and catch Herbert and tell him that it's getting too dark for this. Let's go across to Steve, who is in fact doing something particularly interesting now.
Yes, I've seen some tracks, but it appears as if they were from yesterday, because there are other vehicle tracks around and some footprints of individuals that have probably been checking them out. And it is a small pride of lions with some little youngsters in it. So I'm assuming by what I hear on the radio that it's probably the Torchwood Pride up in the north. I know that Rexon and one of the other guys from Voitela up in Buffelshoek at the moment is busy looking. And I see their tracks all coming Cheetah Cut line in a northerly direction. So I just got off the car for a little bit to have a look, but now I've seen other people's feet around, so I'm sure that they have been seen. I was on bushwalk this morning, so I didn't really hear too much of the game drive chatter. And as you probably noticed, I had yesterday off. So it's quite easy to miss a lot of information. But here we have the tracks. I don't know if you can get it in them, Craigo. Just over my shoulder. On this pathway here. You can see all the lion tracks. There's one. Very characteristic. All heading in this direction. No vehicle driving over them, it seems. But definitely someone's footprint over there just before, with a vehicle turning out and someone standing, and then it appears that they went back that way in search of the cats. So we did have these tracks a bit further north, right up on the boundary with Buffelshoek. Only a couple though, and this is the rest of the pride. So who knows where exactly they've gone. I can only assume it's the Tortured Pride. I really would not know by the tracks who it is. Grommet. I really made Mashatu, which is in southern Botswana, for tracking. It's a marvelous place to track. It's quite sandy, it's quite open, it's not very dense, the vegetation. So you can walk quite quickly with your head up and find tracks and follow them. I tracked lions there a few times successfully, which was marvelous, and it's a really good area because you can see quite far. So you can see elephant herds from a distance, you can see potentially anything from the ridges and the mountains. So that for me has been one of the nicest places to track. But then also up in the northern Kruger, up in Pafuri, where I spent some time, that was also a really nice place to track, but there were some very, very thick areas. Tall river, floodplain type vegetation with grass taller than my head, and then thickets, but a wonderful place to be nonetheless. So those are my two favorite places when it comes to tracking and spending time on foot. Oh, bug in the eye. Okay, well, while we continue on south towards Chitwa, let's go see what Tristan Dix is up to.
Well, I'm still trying to find Hukumuri again. So far, no luck. I don't know where he disappeared to or what's going on, but we can't hear a single alarm call. It's like he's just kind of vanished in thin air. So I'm going to just do some loops around. We've come all the way down to Chameleon now, and even though this goes completely against my gut that he would be this side, but you never know. Like I say, this is where Tandi was last night, so he might have come this way just from following scent, but there's no sign or indication that he came out of the block at all, so that's why I'm thinking he might have come this way, although nothing that we can see. So interesting. I'll have to just keep trying. The other problem is I'm going to have to try and fix my spotlight because the spotlight's not working. So I don't know what's going on with Rusty at the moment. Every time I get into this car, there's an issue somewhere along the line. So the spotlight doesn't seem to want to work. Might be because of the battery situation. Maybe it was disconnected with changing of batteries and things like that. So we'll just try and have a little look and just check what actually went on. It might be just a loose connection somewhere, and we'll just have to wire it back on to the battery itself. That will be the easiest thing. But anyway, hopefully going to find Hukumuri here somewhere in the meantime. So, Paula, something that we were talking about yesterday in terms of what I'm most looking forward to visiting the Mara. I think there's a number of things really. I suppose it's just a change of sceneries. Open plains of Africa is always beautiful. The light in the Mara is some of the most spectacular light that you can get. You get these blue hues at the end of the day, and you get amazing sunrises and sunsets. Spending time with a lot of the cats that side. I would love to see the 5 cheetah, going and trying and researching and seeing what leopards are about in the Mara. That'll always be fun. Maybe we can find that big male that I think Taylor has had, and I think Jamie or Scott, I don't know, one of the two of them might have had him. So it would be nice to go and see some of the leopards outside. Scar, the male lion. What else? The culture that East Africa has to offer. The Maasai are a colourful bunch, and it's always nice to go back to East Africa and spend some time there. So there's lots of things that I'm looking forward to. I think it's also just maybe more than anything, just driving in a different place and getting to know an area better. That's always an exciting thing to do, and particularly when, as guides, when you drive a certain area every single day, it's not that it gets boring, but it just gets to a point where you want to try and expand and try and see, and so you're trying to drive in different sections and try and see different things, because ultimately you want to try and expand your knowledge and you want to grow and learn new things about different parts of Africa. And so spending time in any ecosystem and lots of time there and driving around a lot is always an exciting thing. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things, and it's, I suppose, a bittersweet thing actually, because I was thinking about it today. I'm going back to Kenya. I haven't been in Kenya since 2008 was the last time I was that side of the world, and it just so happens to be that I'm going back now on the kind of day where Dame Daphne Sheldrick passed away. So for those of you who don't know who Dame Daphne Sheldrick is, she's a lady that started the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust with her husband David, and is continued by her daughter Angela, and they have done phenomenal work in trying to rehabilitate orphaned elephants and just general kind of anti-poaching work throughout the Kenyan ecosystems, and they really do a lot, and it's thankless work a lot of the time that they do, particularly the guys that are on the ground collecting snares and all kinds of other things. And unfortunately she passed away after a long battle with cancer, and kind of, to be honest, if it wasn't for the Sheldrick family, probably might not have pursued a career in the bush, which is pretty interesting. So it was from kind of spending time in Kenya with them that got me a bit more of a kickstart to try and actually get into the bush and spend my permanent time out here. So it's to them that I have to be very, very grateful. And the fact that, she's passed away as I'm starting to go back to Kenya now is kind of a sort of, I don't know, interesting moment in life, and makes you reflect upon a lot of what you've done, where you go and what happens. And so I have to be thankful for the opportunities that they provided, not only for me, but obviously for everybody else, and a lot of the Kenyan community. And they've done so much work that side, that it's an amazing kind of family and an amazing operation that they run that side of the world. So hopefully it will continue to go, and hopefully, even though she's passed on, that the work is continued by the rest of the people, which I'm sure it will be. I mean, they're all absolutely in love with Kenyan wildlife, the whole family, and so you know, it's a bit of a bittersweet moment heading back to Kenya in some respects, because, you know, you would think, I was kind of thinking about them the other day, and then to hear that she's passed away is obviously a sad moment. And I think it's a sad sort of day for conservation worldwide. She's done a lot to raise awareness of sort of rhino and elephant poaching across East Africa. So anyway, hopefully, you know, we'll have a situation where, you know, good will come of it. She's done so much, and, you know, sometimes when you think of people passing away, it's always good to remember what they've done, and she's definitely probably done more in terms of conservation than many other people in this world, and that's something to celebrate. So it'll be good to like I say, get back there and obviously just, you know, enjoy being in East Africa again. It's a great place to be, and a beautiful country. And the only thing that I'm probably not looking forward to is Nairobi traffic. It's a delightful experience. It's not the best thing in the world, so not really looking forward to that, but I'm looking forward to just exploring new places and kind of finding all kinds of different things that I can out there. I'm also looking forward to the birding. Birding is very good. It's never bad when you can walk out of your camp and see Narina trogons and Ross's Turako and the likes. So African emerald cuckoos, so although they won't, I don't think they'll still be there at this time, but it'll just be nice to be there and kind of explore somewhere different. Anyway, let's get our minds back to the task at hand, which is finding this elusive spotted cat that's just given us the slip. How he gave us the slip, I'm not really sure. I was 99% sure I'd just find him on the other side. So either he found whatever he was looking for and is just stopped inside there, or he's completely changed direction and we've just been given the absolute slip. I'm going to head to Treehouse Dam just in case he crossed the road before we got round and is sort of ambled down that way and might be sitting close to the dam itself. So I'm going to head there, also try and fix my spotlight quickly. Talking of spotlights, let's send you back across to Steve, who is using his to try and find the Torchwood Pride.
Well, the Torchwood Pride has gone in the other direction, so we'll find anything we can with the spotlight. We've just gotten onto Chitwa itself as we mosey on down to the dam. I have heard nothing on the radio, but we don't normally get such good radio comms from a distance, so as soon as we get settled and closer to the dam, I'll announce my presence, and maybe, just maybe, there might be something of interest that they have found in and around. Or we'll just find it ourselves, Kruger, won't we? Seems to be the way we do it. Very quiet around Chitwa Dam, just looking down here. Don't see all the loads of impala you normally see. Kurs, can you go again? I didn't quite get that. I just heard monkeys around Djuma. Do we see monkeys? Oh. Komora, why are there so few monkeys? I have no idea. I really don't know why there's so few. Maybe they steer clear of people. It's possible. Unfortunately, you know, it's very hard to ensure that no one in an area like this feeds an animal. And monkeys are very clever. Same with baboons. And so I have no doubt there's a whole lot of human wildlife conflict when it comes to baboons and monkeys. Lodges and things have been in and around the Sabi sands for many years. And monkeys and baboons get smarter and smarter, and as soon as one starts raiding a dustbin or raiding rooms, it becomes a problem. And it's possible that they get kept away because individuals might get eliminated from the population from time to time. So I'm sure there's a fear factor about the monkeys and the baboons not spending too much time around the lodges because they compete with us too much. They cause a lot of trouble. And that is a marvelously big herd of guinea fowl on the dam wall there. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. Last time we had the guinea fowl down here, they found us Hosanna. I'm just going to stop there, Kruger. Is that all right? Look at all of them. There is a whole herd of guinea fowl. Yes, Kirsten, a whole herd of them. Beautiful afternoon at Chitwa. And the dam and the resident hippo are there. Guinea fowl are probably coming down in the late afternoon for a little drink. En masse. Staying in large numbers like that protects them against raptors such as the snake eagles as well as other larger raptors. A martial eagle is one of the primary predators of a guinea fowl. And as we know, we often find leopards because of them. And you can see the numbers of guinea fowl there. They really do very, very well out here, even when conditions are poor. And I have said it before that they form a very nice buffer food prey species for your smaller cats in times of drought, when other prey animals are harder to come by. The guinea fowl fit that sort of role. They are able to breed very quickly and rebounce and rejuvenate their numbers very quickly. They're a very good ecological species because they scratch, they turn the soil over, they eat all sorts of larvae in dung, they mix the dung up and spread it across the surface. Truly, truly free-range birds. If you had a chicken in your garden or 2 chickens, they would actually do an enormous amount of gardening for you. And any of you out there who understand the term or the practice of permaculture, they do something called the chicken tractor, where they actually use chickens to do all of the sort of turning over of the soil and the defecation and the removal of any weed seeds. Here we have another little covey coming right in front of us. There's at least one youngster in there, 2 youngsters. You can see their heads, the light or the darker head. Those are 2 youngsters there. It's marvellous. My first young guinea fowl of the season. Yeah, Terry, it is indeed a flock. I was only making a joke. Kirsten was in my ear about a herd of guinea fowl, and so we just ran on with that a little bit. But indeed, it is a flock. There might actually be another collective name for guinea fowl, but look at how many there are. It's an enormous amount. You can hear the water thickening, shouting, making lots of noise. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear the guinea fowl starting to do what we call their alarm call. That's what attracted me the other day to them. But in the evening, it's more of a contact call to get them all together. Let's see if we can hear it. Craig, do you want to go right there on that small island? There's 2 baby hippos that have just come out. Forward. Yeah, punch right at it. There we go. 2 youngsters. Hello. They're going to play for us, are they? They're bored of sitting in the water all day. It's time to get out. Come on, Mum, let's go feeding. Hippos are a very funny animal. They always have such weird proportions. Ashton, hippos primarily have 1 baby. I've never heard of twins in hippo. I'm not sure. It's possible. I mean, elephants have been known to have twins, I believe. It's had happened before. I've never seen it myself. But hippos invariably have 1 youngster. A gestation period of about 9 months, which is very, very short considering the size of the animal. A white rhino, which is almost equivalent in size, has got a gestation period of more closer to 15 months. So it's almost double. And that is because the hippo can give birth in the water and can protect the baby in the water. It doesn't have to run around as much as a white rhino youngster would have to evade predation, and also to cover great distances for feeding and for drinking. Oh wow, that was a marvelous yawn.
And let's go into infrared.
Okay, so we're going to go to infrared now, if that's okay with you, Kirst. There's a little youngster in front there. Look how big his mouth is. He's going to come out, is he? Or she? Very watchful eye of Mum there. See the water thickenies on the bank in front of it. Here it comes. Probably one of the cutest things about is a young hippo. You see a light in the background there. That is Chitwa Lodge. Those of you on Game Drive with me 2 mornings ago would remember Osana having a little cheeky peek inside room 11. Gromit, I'm not sure what diseases affect hippos. Let's hear them shout at us, though. Let's see the alarm call of the guinea fowl. In the daytime, it's very reliable for a cat, but in the afternoon, it's more of, as I said, just a come-together chorus. It's always important to pay attention. You never know, they might be actually seeing something. We know Hosana and his dad, Tingana, the Duke of Djuma, who like to spend a lot of time around the water. Sorry, Gromit, I don't know too much about the diseases that affect hippos. I'm drawing an absolute blank on that. I'm sure James Henry would have an idea of the diseases that affect hippo populations. I know that what affects them the greatest is drought, the lack of grazing and the lack of permanent water to submerge themselves. That is a big one. Oh, the babies are coming out on the other side. There we go. We've got 3 of them now. We're going to play. Oh, there we go. Look how aggressive they are. So scary. They are very cool little hippos. I do enjoy spending time with them. And if we listen some more, you can hear the very loud chorus of the male impalas to our left. You'll hear the very excited male impalas roaring and chasing each other around. Bunny, I think hippos can open their eyes underwater. I assume so. They don't really need to see underwater though, so maybe they close them when they go underneath. I'm honestly not too sure. It's a good question. Marvelous afternoon at Chitwa Dam. We're just going to roll down a little bit and see if we can get a little bit closer. See if we can get a little bit closer to these hippo. What have you guys seen? Have you seen a leopard? Have you seen a leopard anywhere? Egyptian geese. Here we have all the thickneys, the guinea fowls. Costa guinea fowl have got a number of predators, from wildcat, serval, caracal, leopard, python, even large raptors. A lot of the large raptors would be responsible for killing guinea fowl. Predator. They are quite a universal food source. They form quite an important part out here for a number of reasons, because their size, they're not very big, but they're not tiny, so they're able to support leopards would enjoy them, caracal, all of the cats. And they breed quite well, like chickens. They'll have clutches of up to 12, maybe even 14 eggs, and generally you see quite a number of them surviving. Those 2 youngsters I saw just now are the first youngsters I've seen of the year. So I'm quite surprised about. Maybe they're all busy breeding at the moment as we speak. So can you all hear that very nice alarm call of the helmeted guinea fowl? There we go. Off they fly. They've had enough. They're going to go join the rest. They will find a patch in a bush to roost for the night after they had a little drink, and that'll be them until the morning, when they'll all jump down from their bush and start scratching again in the early morning. As I say, the early bird gets the worm. Guinea fowls are very good at scratching and digging through the undergrowth, looking for all sorts of juicy bits and pieces. Minamu, guinea fowl will lay their eggs in a nest. They'll build it just underneath a thick bush. So in a thicket underneath the bush, normally quite low to the ground. but just concealed in the vegetation itself. The hippos think I just told a funny joke there. Maybe they liked your name, Minamu. I think that's about right. We always have lots of fun with the hippos here at Chitwa Dam. Maybe because there's so many more of them. The hippos at Buffelshoek aren't that entertaining. They generally just duck under the water and give us funny looks. Faye, your assumption there is probably quite correct. I mean, hippos have got very small ears, so I wouldn't say their hearing is amazing. You can generally tell that by sort of the size of sort of structures. Large eyes mean good eyesight, large ears, good hearing. So the hippos don't really need hearing too much. They've got a great sense of smell, and they just need to get to and from the water. And if something does try and surprise them out of the water, they tend to become very sort of aggressive towards that animal, and they will detect that probably through smell. They don't have to hear too well because it's not easy to sneak up on a hippo. So hence the small ears. They probably haven't needed to have any sort of kudu-like detection because they're not prone to being attacked by prides of lions. And they just walk through the bush anyway, and if something startles them, they just charge away at enormous speed and very hard to catch or stop as they move, as they will just race back to the safety of the water. Rhinos, on the other hand, have got much bigger ears, but they are constantly alert, and their ears are constantly moving in each direction, trying to detect the slightest movement of anything that's coming near them. But then that is because they are sleeping out of the water, and they have to sleep. Hippos just park off in the water and they sleep, so they're not really bothered by anything pressing. You can see some water thickneys in front of us here on the dam wall. You can hear them calling as well. There's a blacksmith lapwing there, and then off go the thickneys. You can just hear them, that high-pitched sort of whistle. That's a contact call. Nocturnal birds. Those of you who were on drive with me a few weeks ago, we actually got one of them in the road with IR eating a scorpion, which I thought was marvelous. I'd never seen them do that before. And that's what I've always enjoyed, the facts. You know, when you see something, you can read what you like out there, but when you physically see something happen, that is then a fact that goes with you for life. And that's what's marvelous about this show, is we're able to talk about and exchange a lot of our experiences on everything that we see. And we see the heron just landed up here, Kruger. Beautiful grey heron. You can hear him calling. He's probably going to roost there for the night. In comes his partner. He's about to land there. He was just calling. Is he going to come in? Or they may be going to do a flyby together. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. It is getting quite dark. We are, as we said, we're in the infrared. We still have a little bit of light, but the birds are going to land soon before they lose sight. And someone who's managed to get started in his vehicle, let's go back over to Tristan Dix.
Well, we did manage to get it started. It took a little bit of effort to get it going. Had to push the car uphill, VM and I, just the two of us, which was more complicated than it sounds. So Rusty needs to go on diet. It's very heavy at this stage, and especially up a hill, it's not exactly that comfortable to be pushing. So we had to push Rusty and then managed to roll start and get ourselves sorted. But we had an issue with the spotlights at first. The spotlight little cable had severed and was sparking, and that might be what's causing the battery to drain a little bit. So we'll just have to see. But either way, we're up and running, which is good news, and hopefully we'll have a situation where we'll stay up and running for the course of the remainder of this evening. Probably not going to stop too much, which means that this scrub here needs to vacate the premises. I suppose we can stop, we just can't turn off. So I do apologize if the engine is running, but there's a little scrub here bouncing along the road. Now scrub here, come on, off you go that way. Let's turn off our lights and then it should go into the grass. Come on. There's a nice place for you to run. Now VM's going to go into IR just because we have a situation where I don't have headlights because I'm trying to get the scrub hair off the road, but it's not doing it. Come on. Normally if you shine on just on the side and you turn your lights off, you have a situation where the scrub hair gets off the road, but this one is not cooperating at all. Come on. This side scrub hair. It's open for you. Are you going to be belligerent and not go the way that you want it? Sometimes you can't help it. These guys, no matter what you do, will just run in the road in front of you. Come on. No, not that way. That way, yes. Well done. Go. Go that way. Come on. No, not that way. This way. Yes, go in there. That's fine. That's because there's another scrub hair over there. So, Guide Monkey, you say, cue the Monty Python narrator. Exactly. If only we had Monty Python here, it would be quite nice to have that narrator going, and then I would be able to deal with our scrub hair a little bit better. Anyway, scrub hair's out the way now. All is good. Still no sign of Hukumuri anyway. While we were down trying to push the car, we were listening. Couldn't hear any sounds of alarm calls or anything. So where he went, I still have absolutely no idea. I'm going to try and take Rebecca's in case he just kind of went up and cut straight west towards Impala Plainside. He does like Rebecca's road, so we'll just have a little squiz there and a little check it out, and maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find him kind of just cruising down the road. That would be a nice thing to happen, given that he's been a bit elusive since we lost him a little bit earlier. Still surprised that we didn't find him. He wasn't making any attempts to hide or anything like that. So I'm not sure where he disappeared. Kathy, I think probably the only thing I wouldn't want close to the car or in and around the car, well, I suppose in the car would be many things, but close to the car, well, I don't know actually, nothing really. I like everything being close. It doesn't really matter to me too much. Maybe a hippo, an enraged hippo bull close to the car would not be that great. Maybe an active black mamba that's kind of coming towards the car would also not be ideal, but one in a bush next to the car is okay. That's probably, I don't know, that's it. I don't really have too many animals that I wouldn't mind close to the vehicle. They're pretty much quite chilled where we are, so it's not something you really need to worry about too much. And we have so many of our animals coming close regularly that you kind of just get used to it after a while. And there's nothing really. Black rhino would also be one that you wouldn't really want lying close to the car, that's for sure. VM, what do you think? Rebecca's road? Might as well is what VM says. VM makes a valid point. It's not like we have anything to lose by going down Rebecca's road. It's not like Hukumuri has popped out anywhere in these areas. Now we have to try and find a chameleon just to add to our tally. Now Alarma, you say buffalo? Buffalo, I don't really mind too much actually, being close to the vehicle. I just don't want them close to me on foot. I'm quite happy for them to be close in a vehicle, especially the big herds. It's always quite nice actually to be in amongst a big herd of buffalo where you can smell them and you can hear them chomping away on grass as they go about their business. Quite like that actually. Just trying to think though. I suppose buffalo being hunted by lions wouldn't be that pleasant, especially at night. Being close to buffalo being hunted by lions is not that nice. Kathy, you say hippos? Yeah, hippo very close to the vehicle is not an ideal situation. Out of the water. Hippo in the water, not so bad, but hippo out the water close to a car, not something you want to deal with very often, that's for sure. Well, I don't anyway. I'm not somebody that likes to have hippos close to the car, and generally it's because it's at night, and that's never a pleasant experience when a hippo is right around you at night. Well, scrub hairs are all out this evening. Let's see if this one is going to be a better listener. Okay, scrub hair, you have to go off there. There's a nice spot for you. Come on. Come on. Yeah, just this little spot right here. No, where are you going? The youth of today, the rabbits of today, should we say, don't really listen very well, do they? They just kind of do They just do what they want. Rebellious bunch they are. Anyway, it's gone off the road. Maybe it was because I was about to tell it off. Millennials, exactly, Kirsty. Another story they are. I suppose we're millennials, though. Are we millennials, Kirsty? I think we're millennials. I feel like we are. Kirsty, you definitely are. VM, are we millennials? Are we Generation Y? Yes, maybe we are. Are we the start of millennials? Oh no. Was it our generation that started this nonsense? I hope not. I feel like we're not like that, are we, Vildy? We're in between. We have our own generation, don't we, VM? Exactly. VM agrees with me. No, now, Kirsty, that's not even funny, because poor Steve, who's much older than us, is definitely not a millennial. But I wonder what Steve is, actually. It will be interesting to hear what he thinks he is.
I am not 100% sure what is going on. I got half of those communications, Kirst, about Tristan saying, shame, poor Steve, wonder what he is. I'm definitely not a millennial. I am too old to be a millennial. Too old. I'm older than you, Tristan. You called me an old man the other day. So I will take it. I'm an old man. And you're a young man with lots to learn. I'm only joking. I am born in, well, earlier than Tristan. So I was born in 1980. So definitely not a millennial, I don't think. I don't even understand half of all of that, but I do know, I'm pretty sure I'm not a millennial. Kruger, you are though, eh? Generation X, yep. X for exemplary, hey, Kirsten? Exemplary, yes indeed. I agree. I agree with you. Us old men of the tribe will shine on and be incredible for the rest. James and myself, and Ralph is the same age as me. He's back tomorrow. Old Ralph, Kirsten. Tristan thought I was part of the baby boomers. That's very cheeky, Tristan. My mother was part of the baby boomers. Don't be cheeky. Don't be cheeky now. If you notice, ladies and gentlemen, Tristan's got more grey hair than I do at the moment. So how's that for a comeback? So enough of that. We are looking for anything. It would be lovely to find you a lovely leopard on our way home. We are on our way back from Chitwa Dam now. We'll be crossing back into Djuma shortly. It's very quiet this side, apart from the bugs flying into my face. Trying to not have my mouth too wide open before I ingest some more. And then no doubt I'll be asked a question from some of you is, what do they taste like? And some of them taste quite gross, and some of them just taste very, very like an insect. I don't know how to explain that. You get something in your mouth, you generally just try and spit it out, or it ends up going straight down your throat, and all you can do is swallow, so you don't choke. Lots of insects blooming at the moment. Probably a reason why we're still seeing lots of our migratory birds. The warbirds are still around. I think Taylor saw a woodland kingfisher this morning, which is fantastic. A lot of this is obviously to do with the late rains. We saw that dung beetle now doing some late harvesting in the season. So it does bode to be a good winter. We just need the dams to fill up with a bit more water, in my opinion. Here we are, back to Gowrie, Main. And let's go over to that young man, Tristan Dix, with his chameleon search.
Yes, we are searching for chameleons, Steve, and I'm sorry I was a bit cheeky. I didn't mean to be. I was just having a little bit of fun. Steve is always keeps giving me trouble keeps giving me this hand sign and catching me out and then laughing at me because I'm such a trusting individual on his sort of behavior. I think that he's not going to scam and fool me, but then he does, and it's not very nice. So I wouldn't do that to you, Steve. I'm far too nice to be cheeky to you. No, it's quite fun in camp at the moment. It's always good banter between Steve and James and Brent and Taylor and myself. As lots gets said, I can tell you that much. Although I feel like I'm the quietest of the group. Maybe not. Maybe James is the quietest, actually. James is probably... Come on, Kirsta. Do you think I'm not the noisiest? Surely. Not when we compare Steve, Brent and Taylor. Surely? No? I'm innocent, Kirsty. There we go. So I told you, Kirst, I'm close to the bottom. Kirsty reckons it goes Brent, Taylor, Steve, then me, and then James is the quiet one. It depends if James is singing or not, because if James is singing, then he's noisier than I am. But yes, VM says he's very noisy, Kirsty. He's his neighbor, and says that James is very noisy, makes a lot of noise. I wonder what James has to say about all of this. VM, I'm sure you're going to hear all about it when James is with you next time. But I think you'd have a big fight on your hands there between Taylor and Brent. Brent is adamant that Taylor is louder than he is, and I'm not sure, to be honest. It depends on the day. They're equally as loud, those two, and equally make a lot of noise in camp when they want to, but it's a tight call. I think I might go Brent first as well, Kirst. I think that's not a bad call. But in terms of the entire Safari Live team, I think you'll have Jamie probably last behind all of us, with I don't know where Ralph would actually fit in there. I think, what do you think, Kirst? Where does Ralph fit in? Maybe before or after me? Maybe, hello, Thickney. There goes a Thickney. After me, so lower down, or before me? After. After's lower, okay. So he's between James and I, is that what you're saying? I don't know, Kirsty. His voice carries. He's much louder than what I am, surely. I'm the soft-spoken one in the team. No, not really. Like I said, everyone's pretty loud. If you're a presenter, you normally have a voice and you speak a lot. So Ali, who's is it Ali, my Ali sitting in FC, Kirsty, or Ali in general? Ali, Internet's Ali, not my Ali, says it's hard to believe that James is quiet. I know, it is hard to believe. Taylor, you are in trouble, my girl, because the last day of the competition is today and you're still 0 on the scoreboard, but we are not 0. In fact, that's number, how many now, Kirsty? Number 4, 3. Anyway, there is a flat-necked chameleon sitting on the edge of a bush willow tree. So we are really well and truly ahead in this competition, and poor Taylor hopefully has got a few weeks now to try and find some chameleons while I'm away. Now, VM, I know we're looking at a chameleon, but can you go onto the road in front of me, in the shadowy patch that's in front where the headlights are? I'm going to turn it off because that will help you. There is an antlion, an adult antlion that's flying about. It's called a dotted felt antlion. That's ones that we get mostly here. They have these little black wings, and you can see it kind of flying about every now and then. I think I've lost it now, VM. Unfortunately, if I turn my lights off, it disappears. But very cool to see. Anyway, the fact that we found a chameleon is good news. I was hoping that we would get a chameleon on our way. Steve was saying that we're going to look for one, and we were looking for one. And this is a really nice, big female, I think. She's a large chameleon. This is about as big as they get. If I had to go put my hand there, it would be about the size of my hand in total. And you can see how curled up that tail is. Isn't that cool when they curl their tails like that? And it's probably trying to stay nice and warm, and Jason, you were actually commenting on its tail, saying it's awesome. They're very cool when they fold their tails up like that. It's all just to retain a little bit of heat and stay as warm as possible. There's a definite change in the air. We've gone from this sort of summer feel where it's been hot and humid in the evenings to now a very cool feel, and so these poor chameleons will be getting quite cold during the course of the night, so we're not going to see too many more of them going forward, but still nice to see them, and it's been actually quite good since we had the rains. We've had quite a few of them. So Minamu, yes, South African chameleons do change colour. This particular species of chameleon has various shades of green, so it can go from dark greens all the way to light greens. It also can go into a rusty kind of brown colour. It can go in almost sort of whitey sand colour, so this colour of our roads that we have here, and it can go black. And when it goes black is when it's upset, and then it'll go black and it'll flare its neck, and this neck comes out and it's got this bright orange, and that contrasts against the black, and that's when it's very angry with things and it's trying to kind of impose itself and to try and warn everything that it's not very happy. So if you have to pick them up, that's what they do. So don't pick them up, it's not good for them. It's better just to leave them on their branch just like that, to enjoy their surroundings. And just like any other animal, we wouldn't go and pick up a leopard, and so we shouldn't be picking up things like chameleons as well. But very cool to see, and nice that we've had a couple of them over the last little bit. Right, now I'm going to leave this one because my lights are actually on it at the moment, so oh no, Rusty, forgot completely that we have no battery. So Linda will address your question because Rusty is not going to work and I'm going to be stuck here again. How do they hang on while they sleep? Well, basically that chameleon is not asleep at the moment. It is awake, its eyes are moving about, but essentially their feet kind of latch on, and they've got these very specialized hands and feet. Basically, it's not like ours where we've got kind of 4 digits and 1 digits on the side to grip. They've got 2 like this, and then 3 coming this way, so it's kind of like a claw that goes round, and then they have the reverse of that on the back foot, and they kind of just grip on, and then they'll just kind of wake up if they start to lean any side, but generally that's enough just to hold them on the branch itself. I forgot completely that we had no battery. Why did I turn off? Anyway, right, well, I try and fix this, actually, because you just told me that I can say goodbye to all of you. So we'll see you all hopefully in a few weeks' time. We're going to be off tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see you maybe from that side at some point. Otherwise, we'll see you in a few weeks. But until then, let's head you off to Steve to finish up this evening's proceedings.
We are back on Djuma. Well done, Tristan, for finding your committee. Been one. We were just coming out of a little drainage depression there. Apologies for any loss of signal I might have had. I wonder if Tristan, did he try his UV light on the... It's been wanting to try, because apparently they've got a very interesting UV signature. If I find one, I'll try and do it. I do have a UV light on me. Just don't know if the batteries are very good at the moment, but there's always some spare batteries in my bag. What a wonderful evening it's been. It's been really quiet, but I love the fact that we have days of unbelievable action and then we have days of no action, and that is just kind of what happens out here. And as a guide, you need to be able to sort of manage those expectations, especially when you've got paying guests that are coming here and spending a lot of money to go out there, and you need to show them the little things, the dung beetles and the tracks and interesting bird behavior, because that is what's always around. It's always around. You don't always have the lions and the leopards. And there goes an owl. We do need a last-minute leopard, Jinlin. We'd love to get a last-minute leopard. But what we do have here quickly, I think it might have landed. Look like is he there, Craig? Can't see him. Look like an owl. Be a nice ending to the show. Can't see him. I think he flew off a little bit. But it's been a marvelous afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. From the Bushwalk team, James and Herbie, well done for finding Hukumuri. There it goes. Oh, that's gone. And from myself and Craig and all of the other wonderful staff in FC, been really nice having you on the show. Thank you for the very educating questions and the comments. We hope to see you bright and early tomorrow morning for more action in Djuma in the Sabi Sands. So from all of us, have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.